Until HTML5, web page developers had to rely on plugins, third-party software, if they wanted to include anything richer than embedded images. In HTML5, the intent is to provide multimedia handling natively. That is, HTML5 compliant browsers are expected to be able to handle various media elements without plugins. Let's take a look. The video element, images that move. Its purpose is to describe characteristics of a video file. The syntax is a start tag, video, possibly with some attributes, possibly with some content, and an end tag. Both the start tag and the end tag are required. The content is optional, but if there is some, it is comprised of source elements. Useful attributes for the video element are src, identify the video file to display. This is optional. If it's omitted, we will use source elements that are the content of this video element. Poster is the file name of representative image. This will be displayed in the playback area. Controls is a Boolean attribute, and if present, the browser will display device controls, play, pause, volume, and so on. Autoplay is a Boolean attribute, and if present, the video will begin playing as soon as it has been loaded. Muted is a Boolean attribute that, if present, says the sound is muted to begin with. And loop is a Boolean attribute, and if present, when media hits the end of the file, it will begin playing again at the beginning. And the height in pixels of the playback area and the width in pixels of the playback area. Global attributes are available, of course, and event handlers are discussed later. The audio element, sound files. Its purpose is to describe the characteristics of an audio file. The syntax is a start tag, audio, possibly with some attributes, possibly with some content, and an end tag. Both the start tag and the end tag are required. The content is optional, but if there is some, it is comprised of source elements. Useful attributes for the audio element are src, identify the audio file to play. It's optional, and if omitted, we'll use source elements that are the content of this audio element. Controls, autoplay, muted, and loop are the same as for video. The global attributes are available, of course, and event handlers are discussed later. The video and audio elements are the same, except the audio element does not have a visual playback area. In both cases, you can identify the file to play using the src attribute. However, you can omit this attribute and specify the source using the source HTML element nested within. The source element, identify a media file. Its purpose is to supply information about a video or audio file. The syntax is a start tag, source, with some attributes. The start tag is required, an end tag is forbidden. Useful attributes for the source element are src, name of the file, and type, type of file. The global attributes are available but not useful, and event handlers are discussed later. So what's this all about? Well, it turns out that not all browsers, not even all HTML5 compliant browsers, support the same video and audio formats. The source elements help in two ways. First, if several source elements are supplied, the browser will go to the list and find the first file with a format it supports. If none are found, an error message will be displayed. The browser attempts to determine if it can play a file based on the file name extension, but if that is not enough information, the browser may sniff the file, download it, and examine it looking for clues as to what kind of format this is. For example, if it's MP4, what level or profile of MP4. The type attribute can help prevent the need for sniffing by providing more information about the file identified in the src attribute. This might save the bandwidth of downloading a file that the browser can't play anyway. The type attribute has an optional codex equal parameter that allows you to specify more technical information. For example, source src equals video.mp4, type equals video/mp4, semicolon, codex equals, quote, avc1.58a01e, comma, mp4a.40.2, close double quote, close single quote. The above is taken from the standard, and here it is just intended to give you some idea of what can be specified. In practice, this level of detail is seldom coded, in my experience or observation. More detail is available here, https://tinyurl.com/yn6npb82. Here's some examples. Video, controls, src equals media/gizmo.mp4, and video. This might show this way. Notice the controls at the bottom of the picture. That's caused by the controls attribute being present. Another example, video controls, and there's no src in here because I have nested source elements. And notice the source elements are the same file except for a different extension. So this is the same video in different formats. And the browser will select the one that it can support, the first one it can support, and that text, your browser does not support the video element. That's called fallback. It will display if the browser doesn't support any of the shown formats. It's traditional to list the same video in different formats, but you could list different videos in various formats. Assuming one of the above formats is supported, this will look like the above image. Audio, controls, src equals Bach-D major concerto.mp3, and audio. Audio with controls show up pretty minimal. Here's an example with audio and controls, but no src attribute. A couple of source elements, and the idea is the same as before. Just a couple of notes. Always include the controls attribute unless you're going to code your own controls in JavaScript, which is pretty daunting. And we don't recommend including autoplay. Some find it intrusive. Let the user start playing when they want to. Event handlers for media elements, video, and audio. Of course, the standard events are available for these elements, and there are additional events available. For example, you can handle a wide range of events such as stalled, waiting, playing, ended, and so on. The whole list is here, https://html.spec.whatwg.org/multipage/media.html #media events. Clearly, media elements can be quite complex to work with. Since we're still working towards straightforward web pages, I've elected to skip the really difficult stuff and hope to play media files as simply as possible. Here's a recap. In this session, we described the video, audio, and source elements and their major supporting attributes. Coming up, in the next session, we begin our exploration of JavaScript and how to use it to make your website interactive. Fun! See you there.